Hello, YouTube. This is Insane Monster, and we are here for part 9 of What If Asta was Igneal's son. Now then, if you remember, this part will be at the Royal Knight's exam. And if you remember from the ending of the last part, Asta and the other individuals with dragon powers have done some special training in preparation for this. As for anything else, they did actually go for a bit of a rule not to use their full strength unless they think it's necessary, since revealing what they would do would pretty much shock everybody and might be overkill in some scenarios, which obviously it would be for what you're about to see that or hear them do and such. So, with all that said, before the what if actually starts, hit it. Okay, now then, as everybody who are applying to the exam gather up in the same area as the Magic Knight exam was hosted, they start looking around to see who's there. Asta ended up with Natsu following them, since he really wanted to see this competition, wanting to see his older brother, you know, uh, beat up the other guys in this competition. Asta was okay with that, as people recognized that there was a number of individuals with a bit of a reputation, including Klaus, Mimosa for their magic, as well as seeing Noelle there, hearing that she was also said to have gained greater magic control, though Solace looks at her with a bit of a scorning, spiteful look. Noelle is nervous, still as in canon. After all, she grew up with her older brother basically torturing her. As for anything else, some of the wars and such, some took to it better than others. As Finral walks up, remarking about for Natsu does chime in, stating, "Your hair looks kinda weird. Also, did you sneeze in it?" Pointing at his "How dare you!" Being embarrassed. With luck and Fiona shows up. Asta asks, "I didn't expect you to be. Would like to see how this tournament turns out." As he gives, just so freaking tiny. As he noted, Asta states, well, he wanted to tag along this watch. As he then realized, oh, Mom, do you mind hearing some stuff like that? As, but that doesn't really do anything, as he smirks, stating, well, you do have, don't need to learn how to work together with people that they don't normally fight with. Meaning that they have to use teamwork with individuals that they aren't accustomed with working alongside. As the rules are explained, that they have to defend their crystal while also going after the other team's crystal. And if one of the crystals is not destroyed by the end of the time limit, the losing team will be the one with the most damage done to their crystal. as everything seems pretty straightforward. Asta's glad that it isn't really that complicated, though when he sees the team he's on, he notices that he's with Mimosa, as well as some guy called uh, Zach. 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 That's how it sounds based upon how it spells. It might be different or whatever. It's, but it's uh, Zora. So yeah, as he doesn't know who that is, Zora going under the alias of Zet. We'll just call it Zet because I forget how it's pronounced in the anime. So yeah, as he lands right next to the Wizard King, Marks does instantly try to attack him, but he just jumps down. Wizard King doesn't really mind. He already knows who he really is, and out of everybody, it was the Wizard King who was the most furious after hearing what happened to his father. I might be getting a little ahead of myself, but I figured this could help explain why the Wizard King would allow someone to enter in this exam without actually being a magic knight. So, yeah, as Asta does introduce himself, trying to shake his hand, Zoro goes to shake his hand with a little surprise in his palm, but Asta smells something odd, grabbing the back of his palm as he swoops his hand onto the back of his hand, turning it face up and just freaking flipping it into his face, smacking the rainbow stink bug, just full on smashing it onto his face, with him saying, "You little," as his forehead now reeks of the rainbow stink bug. Asta states, if you're going to try to pull something like that, pull it on someone whose sense of smell is incredibly strong. Mimosa kind of laughs, stating, it's true. Asta's sense of smell is abnormally strong. Even by what you would consider bloodhounds and such, they can't stand a candle to him. As he wipes off the smushed bug, he asks, and why is that? What are you? Some kind of crazy nature guy or something? Asta scratches the back of his head, stating, not really. Merely Leona and Natsu are just kind of laughing at this on the side, finding it entertaining. As Mimosa states, Asta is actually a bit of a hybrid. The rumors about him have actually flooded the capital quite a bit about the magic knight that was raised by Merely Leona and who happens to be a half breed of dragon. As Dirk just kind of looks at Asta, thinking, hell, that those things are only legend. This kid? He looked at Mimosa and sensing their mana, they are pretty high up there. It also feels that Asta's mana is somewhat shifting, like it's about to change or something, but he doesn't quite get it. So he brushes it off for now. As everything is taken care of, the Magic King, the Wizard King and such, escorts them, asking the Spatial Mage that works under him to bring them to the combat field. As they hurry up and go through the portal, they find the battlefield that they are going to be fighting in. Though a number of contestants, which are the ones with dragon powers, already feel something off, or more like smell something. Asta chimes up to Zerx and asks, "Hey, Zerx, been here recently, right? Like before the exam, recently before the exam started. Isn't that right?" Asta could tell how he has a shocked face, thinking for a moment, at wondering, the hell? How does he? Asta tells him as he taps his nose, stating, "This whole battlefield has a kind of scent, and it's yours. Don't know what you did to it, but hopefully it won't really mess with our battles." But as he just sighs, he's not sure what he did, but if it becomes a problem, he'll have to deal with it. As he thinks for a moment before the battles begin, he runs through what he can do currently, thinking, okay, so with all the training, my recent growth, I can go into a full dragon state for Black Dragon mode, and I can stay like that, well, not for long, but I can at least use the half transformation in the Black Blaze mode about 3 times a day. Due to Asta's body being quite different as in canon, there are some differences in his limits of using the Black Asta mode with his draconic power in order to make the Black Blaze Dragon. For the full dragon transformation, and mind you, this is not the Dragon King transformation. His transformation right now doesn't have any humanoid like features, like Ignial and Agnologia have in Black Clover. Or, I mean, Fairy Tail and such. So, yeah. But due to his enhanced physical strength and his body being or more superior in strength, durability, and such, he can use the power 3 times in the halfway form where he produces scales and wings on his humanoid body. So, yeah. As they realize after everything was shown for the brackets that Asta's team was going first. Natsu waved at his brother, wishing them good luck, as Asta just gives a thumbs up, going through the spatial portal and entering the battlefield. As they check out their crystal and look around, they can't really see where their opponents are. Though once the battle commenced, Zerx is already sleeping, which makes Asta annoyed, yelling, "Why are you sleeping?" With him stating, "I was up all night yesterday, so I need a few minutes of sleep." Making Asta think, "You were here last night doing something. What were you doing?" As he just sighs. Though this is somewhat broken up as a flame arrow is shot, hitting their crystal, causing some damage. As another shot was coming, Asa got in its way and ate it. This shocked a number of the competitors that were in the stands, as well as their opponents, as the crystal maids that was keeping an eye, being the scouter for the combo magic sniper, they end up relaying that Asta's eating their flame rounds, causing the earth and fire maids that are sniping at their crystal to somewhat panic. This combo spell is the only thing that they have to reach that far distance. So Mimosa hurries up and uses her plant guidepost to find where the uh, other team's positions are. As he points down the spotter as well as the sniper team. Asta tells Mimosa to use her plant magic for defense, and that he'll go after the other in order to get their crystal. As another shot is fired, Mimosa uses plant drag. Sorry, little parts, but she uses nature dragon creation magic. Tree barrier, creating a barrier to protect their crystal. Now, then, this might be somewhat foolish in terms of a when you think of fire and wood. However, this wood resembles that of a tree that, in some terms, is referred to as the ironwood tree. Very hard to burn to begin with. Takes a while to even get it to start lighting up. As Asta produces his wings and gets flying, he uses his grimoire in order to send out using fire dragon creation magic. Draconic Night Squad, sending out a number of flame armors just going after the spotter. As the crystal mage with the crystal headset with the scope is seeing some flaming armor just barreling towards him. So he instantly bails, going to try to regroup with his team. Asta, however, is going directly for the snipers, as they are trying to rapid fire their way out of this issue. Asta is just eating, though as Asta got closer, they switched to earth magic, causing Asta to grip the handle of his sword coming out of his grimoire, revealing the black flame sword. As the earth arrow is fired, Asta hits it with the flat of the blade, sending it right back at them. As for the mages that react to this, the earth mage creates a barrier to protect them, and they each create a somewhat spear in order to carry the magic crystal. As he looks, seeing the earth mage and the fire mage, he takes a gamble and goes for the earth mage, figuring that they already know that he can eat fire, so it wouldn't be the best idea to give it to the flame mage. As the earth mage is running, the flame mage is meeting up with the crystal mage, helping him out to deal with the uh, armored flame knights, which, without Asta directly guiding them or whatever, just giving them a set things of commands that they have to follow, makes them limited in their action, able to take care of them and try to help their teammate. As the guy with the crystal ends up running into Zora's trap. I mean, Zek trap. Sorry. Trying to keep the name straight with the false name and such for this. As Asta sees this, he goes for an attack directly for the crystal, only for it to absorb his fire dragon's roar and shoot it back at him. As Zek just states, that idiot. With the flames hitting Asta, they think he might be done for. But this is soon proven wrong, as Asta then eats the flames. Due to the fact that the magic spell doubles the strength of the spell and sends it back, it makes it no longer Asta's magic. meaning he can eat it as a way of regaining more power. As with his mana not only filled back up but pushed a little higher, he is feeling great as he dives right in for a physical attack, slamming the boulder, which reveals the crystal was inside of it as it's destroyed. With this, Zack just walks in on this and berates the other team, telling them where they went wrong and their faults. So he looks at Asta, asking, "The hell was that?" As Asta asked, "What do you mean?" Zack stated, "You know what I mean. You ate their flames, and you also ate the flames that were reflected back at you." As Asta states, "Oh, you mean the ones that were created from your magic? So, that's what you were doing here. You were laying out traps." Zack, he states, "What? You got a problem with that?" Asta, who was raised by Leona, did learn a bit about battle tactics. As he states, "It is a bit underhanded for a tournament, but if we were in an actual battle, setting traps before the enemy gets to your location would be a good thing. However, you failed to tell your teammates, and I don't like that. If me or Mimosa stepped on them, we'd be in trouble, right?" With him smirking, stating, "Probably," which does make Asta a bit angry, as Mimosa shows up to heal the maids who got caught in the Dex trap. As that's taken care of, the next battle is being set up to start, which is where we see Magna, Sol, and Kirsch walk in, as Kirsch is being all flamboyant, basically, and very annoying, to the point where Mimosa might actually want to stab him, as Mimosa regrettably introduces that this her brother, with him stating, regrettably, "Oh, you cut me so quick, and your own brother at that," with Magna being really annoyed, asking him to stop acting like that, especially calling his own teammates and their enemies ugly. This dude is annoying to the degree that is unthinkable. As he looks at Asta, he scoffs, stating, "I've heard about you, the adopted son of Leona, and the son of the apparent dragon." As he scoffs, stating, "Unknown birth, as well as not being entirely human." Mostly, this comment is stated due to the fact that they don't know he's half elf. This is a highly guarded secret at the moment, mostly due to the fact of what the Clover Kingdom's royalty did a couple hundred years back to the elves. As he scoffs, stating, "The dragons were powerful, and you certainly do seem so, but you bear the name of royalty without actually being one. Furthermore, it's disgusting that a lizard would have that." As he states, "I've only taken the Vermilion name as a middle name. My full name is Asta Vermilion Dragneil." As Pierce just kind of tells him to just get going, since their battle's about to start, and he'll show them how beautiful he is. With Asta really being annoyed by this guy, The people in the stands were remarking about how that match went and how incredible they were. One of them stated that Asta was supposed to be some kind of son of an actual dragon and raised by Meliona. Some people that weren't in the know that he was adopted did think that he was Melileona's child and figured that that would match up, especially thinking that she'd be the only person that actually end up with a dragon. That they would, or at least that's what they would figure. As Leona, who is sitting next to the Wizard King with Natsu in her laps, with Charmy right next to them in the Wizard King's lap, eating along with the Wizard King. As the battle is about to begin. With this, we do have Sol, Magna, and Kiershe starting their fight. Magna does start strong with combat, with Kiershe protecting the crystal at the beginning, giving advice to Sol and Magna with their combat, which does help them do better than what they would. Even with the Dragon Lacrima in him and having dragon powers, it doesn't really change the fact that his control does need some work. So, other than that and adding some dragon features, the fight doesn't really change much. Since I would imagine the people they go up against wouldn't really cause much of an issue for them. So, yeah, as Mimosa is looking forward to feeding some sense into her brother. Next, we have Leopold uh, Jaman, Jamin, I believe that's how it's pronounced, the glass mage from the Golden Dawn, and Finral. As for their battle, it does go similar to in canon, though when Finral is attacked protecting the crystal, he counteracts their attack with a cosmic dragon roar, which actually surprises a number of people as they were like, the hell? That looked somewhat like the fire breath that Asta kid used. The hell? As they were somewhat confused by this. Not everyone knew that there were individuals gaining dragon powers through the dragon lacrimas. The Wizard King was filled in as he states, interesting. A spatial mage giving dragon powers. Looking over at Melileona, the king asks, Melileona, do you mind explaining what just happened? He states that Asta is looking to revive the dragon's race. From what I understand, his goal is to make each country on the continent have their own set of dragons as a deterrent to keep them from fighting another. Under the threat of mutual destruction. With the Wizard King worried about this, he would be okay with just the Clover Kingdom making sure that they just had dragons, but hearing Asta's plan to keep them from fighting other countries under the threat of just full on mutual destructions of all the other countries doesn't really sit well with him. But it would ensure that none of the other kingdoms would just go out and try to conquer them. So it's a mixed bag on his opinion on this. As Longress sees this, he grips his fist, feeling furious. Hearing what Melileona stated, he thinks, worthless. That worthless brother of mine is given such a gift. I'm better than him in every way. As this is going on, around him, people are remarking how Finral used his spatial magic rather well, to back up his teammates, putting his portals where they needed to be the most. And with that dragon breath power, he could be insanely powerful. As Longris and Finral walked by one another, Longris looked at him, stating, "I'm going to win this fight, and then when I face you, I'm going to show everybody how worthless you are." As Asta hears this, gripping his fist, being pissed, Yuno tapped him on the shoulder, rest his hand on it, stating that it isn't worth it, trust me. Guy's always had a bit of an attitude, apparently. At least that's what the seniors in the Golden Dawn told me. With Klaus remarking that this is actually true. He has had a bit of a streak of having a bad attitude. This does make Asta a little angry that he would treat his own family like this. Afterwards, Longrich's match goes as in canon, since nobody in this match has anything that would change the outcome from in canon. As we go to the next match, where they're looking at the bracket and they can't find where this X guy is, until some weird dude with a weird head shows up, revealing that he is X, and X is actually Rill, the captain. The captain of the uh, Aquadeers. As Rill is glad to be here for the competition, his butler shows up, and once he spots Asta, he does his little fancy thing, introducing himself as William and offering Asta a cup of tea, stating that he's glad that young Master Rill has found a good friend, causing Asta to be a little confused. But he takes the tea and drinks it. It is pleasant, but a bit fancy for him. And this is due to the fact that he was raised by Mereoleona, the woman who, once he got her grimoire, spent years living in the wild of the strong magic regions, hunting her own food and such for game. I would imagine traits like that would have been passed down to Asta, not genetically, but through the act of raising him. As he states, he's pretty fancy. As he just kind of states, "Thank you." So, yeah. Rill's team does win, since, yet again, nothing really happens to change what happens in their battle. So, yeah. Now we get to the battle with Klaus, Luck, and the Polly woman who has wing magic. As they get ready, they talk about their plan on how to fight. Though Klaus does state that their biggest problem might actually be the Wind Mage from the Silver Eagles, stating about how powerful he was. Though they will have to pay attention to the other two as well. Once the battle begins, a mage begins to fire a water blast. As it goes towards their crystal, Klaus gets in the middle of it, and instead of making the steel fortress wall, he instead creates steel dragon scales across his body, placing his hands in front of the blast and tearing it apart. As he remarks in his head, "These scales, they drastically increase my physical abilities. I've already been training my body ever since that incident in the dungeon when I met Asta. But still, didn't think that these scales would boost my physical abilities so greatly. As he smirks, with the little monitor thing showing everything to the spectators from the other team, seeing Klaus's dragon scales, with Julius just being excited, stating, "Oh, he covered his entire body in steel dragon scales, and drastically increasing his physical capabilities and his attack strength. Not only that, with his physical abilities, attack, it also increases defense, allowing him to tear clean through that water spell." As Luck was getting pretty excited, another mage tried to attack the crystal, but Luck quickly grabbed it, getting it out of harm's way. With the wind mage getting ready to attack, sending off his wind to fire at them. This is when Polly grabs the crystal from Luck, using her wing magic, and sends off a powerful gust of wind. With this, Luck yells at Klaus to give him a boost as he lands on Klaus's hand, as Klaus, giving it his all, even throwing his entire back into it, sends Luck flying with a toss, with Luck pushing off, going straight for the wind mage that didn't even budge from Polly's attack. Luck is giving a bit of a boost from Polly's attack as well, as he goes using a lightning dragon talon, kicking him clean in the gut and destroying the crystal with the mage's body, smashing clean through it. Announcing that their team has won, they do celebrate, clapping, with Polly remarking that you two are quite strong, with her giving that big smile. Next, we have another battle of no one that really is a part of the main group of characters, so nothing really changes for them. As for the other battle, we have the Sand Mage that we all remember from the incident at the promotion ceremony in the capital whenever it was attacked, as well as Solid and another Magic Knight. As for the other team, we have the dude Ian, who is the Mushroom Mage, Yuno, and Noel. As Yuno states that he was going to beat them on his own, Noel does protest, obviously, as Yuno is surprised about how long that he thought it would take them longer to get here, as they see that they're using a combo spell to get there faster. With this, the plans shift, with Yuno taking care of the Sand Mage, the Mushroom Guy protecting the crystal, and Noelle being sent off by Yuno's magic, with Solid going right after her, mostly because he's a prick and he likes tormenting his little sister, as he uses Sea Dragon's lair in order to protect herself, and with Yuno's when carrying her to the crystal. Once she lands, the fight begins with her and Solid. As for Yuno's fight, he does hold back quite a bit after hearing the whole spiel from the Sand Maids, stating that he was going to be the one to help their captain realize their dream, realize their captain's dream and everything. This dude has a bit of a complex. remarking that Yuno's just special because he was given spirit magic, with Bell remarking that no, it's because of his great power that he was given spirit magic, you dolt. Though Yuno declines to use spirit magic, with the Sand Mage using his most powerful spell and it being instantly destroyed with rising tempests. It, the Sand Mage just looks broken. Yuno does state that that's the difference between you nobles and us commoners. When you stumble, you break. Which is true. As for Noelle, as Solid sends out snakes of water going towards Noelle, she just eats them. Literally eats them. Shocking Solid as he remarks that, the hell? How? When did you? Why are you blessed by that? I've heard about people gaining dragon powers to repopulate their kind. But you're just a worthless nobody. As he is getting very angry and produces his slashing snake, creating a giant snake of water. With the mushroom showing up, he states that it's the duty of the older sibling to protect their younger siblings, and this one has failed that duty. Noelle, you must thrash this bigot and prove to him the error of his ways. As another spell was sent, destroying the mushroom. As Noelle knew what to do. As she powered up the Sea Dragon's Wrath, which is what Sea Dragon's Roar in canon is called in this story because, Dragon Slayer magic and such. With that, creating a giant dragon. Due to the training, she's better able to manage her mana and can shoot a couple of those at a lesser power than what she used on Veto. With Solid freaking out at the spell Noelle created, he took a look at her, seeing scales form on one side of her body, as well as a wing popping out. He begins to freak, stating, "You don't deserve that. If anyone deserves that, it's me." As their attacks collide, Solid's magic is completely destroyed. Panicking, he just freaks, getting hit by the attack with the crystal being destroyed. After everything, Solid was taken away for emergency treatment. As for the mushroom guy he remarks that you really sewed him. And this dude is freaking frail. He is quiet and frail, and yet his mushrooms are so freaking outspoken. With her stating, your mushrooms seem to speak up a lot more than you. I'm not sure what that says about you, but it is weird. As he just kind of laughs. With the King of the Clover Kingdom stating, "Huh, Julius, you know about this, correct?" As he stated, "Yeah, I do." And asked, "Tell me, how many royal members are actually given the power of the dragon?" As he thinks for a moment and states, "Two, well, no, wait, make that three. Two from House Vermilion and one from House Silva." As he remarks that Noelle is one of them, as well as Mimosa, with the king asking, "Wait, but who's the third, the other one from House Vermilion?" With Mary Leona extending a hand stating, "That would be me," as a type of golden orange scales form on her hand, stating, my dear boy Asta figured I'd be good to gain the power of a sun dragon." looking at the king, her eyes end up with the pupil turning into a bit of a slit form, similar to a cat's eye, as well as the dragon thing that we've seen on different shows and such, causing the king to get very nervous at this, with Julius just laughing. Though Julius then states that, in a matter of fact, turns out Asta had a long-lost brother, causing the king to get worried even more as he asks, "Wait, what? There's another half-breed? Where?" Pointing at Natsu, the little boy with the pink hair and the white scaled-like scarf, causing the Wizard King to be stunned by this, not knowing what to think of a little boy like this having the powers of a dragon, especially since he seems to prefer to go shirtless. Which, honestly, Natsu from Fairy Tail, I think that's kind of like what he preferred, since all he wears over his chest is primarily a vest rather than a shirt. With this, we get to the second round, which was Asta's team versus the team, well, Kirsch's team. As the Wizard King then states that they'll be changing up the battlefield. As it changes, Dirks does look concerned, as Asta calls him out on it, stating, "I'm guessing your traps got shipped around again, huh?" Giving a light little smirk, annoying Zerks, stating, "It doesn't matter, I can still tell where they are." As he refuses to tell Asta, thinking he might reveal them, making Asta a bit mad at his teammate. Though the real issue will be their opponents. As Kirsch is talking, he finds out that Magna is a commoner and just is his whole thing about thinking he's so beautiful and better than everybody else causes him to just go off on his own to fight the other team. Though this does happen early, since Magna is a little bit more furious at him, being a bit of a side effect from the fire dragon magic, perhaps, due, especially when you consider the fact that being a fire dragon slayer also adds up to the flames of emotion. Though he pays it no mind for the time being, as he goes in deeper into the battlefield and unleashes his cherry blossom magic to cover the entire battlefield. As Zerk is worried about this, wondering what they should do, he figures that they'll probably just end up in a trap and then they can make their move. As Mimosa is worried about this, wondering what they're going to do, Asta asks Mimosa something. "Hey, Mimosa, these cherry blossoms are basically just another form of plant, or I guess nature magic, right?" As Mimosa thinks, stating, "Yeah? Why?" As he smirks, stating, "Well then, you could get rid of this spell in no time at all, couldn't you? And get a bit of a magical boost at the same time. Isn't that right?" As he just realized what Asta was saying. As he smirked, stating, "Thank you for reminding me of that, Asta. I'll get right on it." Stepping up a bit, he opens her mouth and begins to inhale. As Zerx asks, "The hell is she doing?" Asta states, "Well, she too has the power of a dragon. You're about to see what happens whenever a dragon of a certain type faces an opponent of a similar type." As he begins to rapidly inhale, eating the massive amount of cherry blossoms, completely and utterly devouring her brother's spell, causing him to freak, wondering the hell just happened, as Mimosa popped out a dragon wing out of her left side, along with some scales encroaching on her neck and a bit on the side of her face, also on the left side. He sees this, wondering, the hell? Hit her too? How dare he? As Asta pops out his wings and flies, avoiding Zerk's traps. As the fight continues blasting, with Kirsch attacking Asta, Asta sends fireballs at him for the time being. As they did miss Kirsch, they actually destroyed Zerk's traps, which he did notice, being angry at this. Though the ones that reflected ended up going towards Kirsch from behind, as he avoided them too, being annoyed. With the fight continuing, there was one trap left, as Asa can tell where it was. Blitzing straight for him, he's punched Kirsch and sending him directly towards the trap. As he tried to stop, he didn't have time to avoid the trap, stepping on it for a landing, as it turned out to be a pit trap. Falling in, Asta takes out his black flame sword when he tries to get out, remarking that I'll destroy you, pointing at Asta, only to find the black sword about to just full on tank him. Afterwards, Zerk shows up, remarking, "Do you even know what you did?" Asta smirked and laughed, stating, "Yeah, I destroyed all your traps." Now this is actually a tournament, as he just smirks, stating, "Look, this is a team effort, and if you want to be a part of the team, then you gotta work with us. Isn't that right? It's the whole purpose of this, so that we can fight the Eye of the Midnight Sun." As he says this, he somewhat feels a little somber, realizing that after that whole thing with Fauna, a number of their members are actually reincarnated elves, his own people. Zerk doesn't know what's up with him, but just brushes it off, stating, "Fine, but mind telling me what we do now?" Asta states, "Isn't it obvious? We protect our crystal and destroy theirs." As Magna is going towards them, Asta senses this, telling Mimosa to go after their crystal, pointing the direction where he can sense a large amount of mana. This being Soul using her Mother Earth Golem to carry around the crystal. As he states, "Are you sure?" Asta gives her a thumbs up, stating, "Yeah, everything's gonna be fine." As he goes over to deal with Soul, Zerk states, "Well, you seem to have a bit of a plan." Asta smirks, stating, "Oh, trust me, I've learned how to deal with enemies training with my mother. And trust me, her training resume is by far the closest thing to hell you will get when you're alive." With him being somewhat nervous after hearing this, he states, "Fine." Though they are in a different location after moving. Though before they do run off, of course Zerk does put a trap, as well as blasts the entrance of where Kirsch was buried. Well, yeah, he basically buried Kirsch again. Before Mimosa could get to the stone, it turned out Zol was going a bit of a round way about, going over the Kiers, digging him out, and waking him up, giving him the same speech as in Canning, that he's not beautiful, that the only people that are beautiful are people like Shar. Which, if I had to state, are actual noble people. People of great character, I guess you would consider. With this, he snaps out of it a little bit, but needs to recover still. With Asta running into Magna. As Magna states, you told us that we should probably hold back, since some of the other teams won't actually be that much of a challenge for what you taught us. But now that I'm facing you, no holding back. With Asta yelling, "Bring it, Magna!" With Kiers, with Kiers recovering and trying to snap out of it to get to Asta and their crystal, Magna just looks at him, thinking, "Alright, time to go." As he powers up, stating, Flame Lightning Dragon Mode, revealing that the training that they did was to show them the combination dual element magic. So yeah, Magna has basically Flame Lightning Dragon Mode. As he charges up his spell, sending it towards Asta, he pulls out his magic sword that he has left, because the other one was used to pin down Kiers. As he goes to hit it, it turns out that it vanishes and hits the crystal, causing a little bit more damage than usual. As Asta smirks at this, Magna powers up another one. Due to the fact that this is a dual element attack, Asta can't really eat it as well as a normal fireball. Plus, it disappears before he has a chance to eat it or eat it or hit it with his anti-magic. So he just thinks, that's great, Magna. Looks like you really outdone yourself. As he powers up and goes into Black Blaze Dragon Mode. This is the halfway transformation, meaning after this he'll have two of the halfway Black Blaze Dragon Mode left to use for this tournament. As Magna begins to throw the vanishing flame lightning ball, Asta has a little trouble at first taking care of it, but using his black scales that are now infused with anti-magic, as well as the tail and such, smacking the balls as they come at him. He's getting better at doing this, using his mana and ki sensing. Normally, doing this would be troublesome, though, as I stated, with the mana and ki sensing, he's able to get a better read on where they'll reappear, though some are still slipping through. As Kiers is now coming in. With this, we see that he's going to attack their crystal, with Zek stating that to go for the peach flower guy. As he does head out, Zerk reveals a magic circle that he was setting up on the sideline, putting it on the crystal, as well as another one that he did on the fly, revealing that Kiers has his arm stuck in it, keeping him pinned. When he goes to undo it, Asta quickly flies up to him, stating, "Time for you to go to sleep again," punching Kierce, sending him flying to the ground, as Magna, seeing an opening, does a lightning flame dragon roar, though due to the reflection spell Zerx put on it, it sends the attack back, though Magna is able to eat it, stating, "Huh, I didn't have the dragon power, that'd be troublesome." Though Asta does land in front of Magna, he powers up even more as he drops out of Black Blaze Dragon mode, revealing that in his fire there are flecks of crimson blood red, as well as some of blue. Asta's not recognizing this. He's too focused on Magna, as he's going in for a full frontal attack, with Magna being on the defensive. As for Mimosa, due to her dragon power, she's better able to handle Soul, attacking her and going directly for their crystal, or at least trying to. She's using a dragon spell that she's attempting to master, which seems to have already been mastered, as she rejoices, using the magic Nature Dragon creation magic. Mother Earth Vine Snare, grabbing hold of the Mother Earth Golem. And yes, the similar names are just for fun. As Soul's Golem is snared and she tries to move it, it's found out that these vines are burrowing into her golem. As Mimosa figures that the crystal is inside the golem's chest, she powers up and releases a Nature Dragon's roar, completely bursting through the golem and destroying their crystal, as they won. With that, Asta teams won, with Zerx giving the same lecture as in canon. Sorry if I mix up some of the names. This tournament arc is kind of long. With that, Asta's team now advances to the semifinals. Next, we have Finral's team and Longris's team, as Longris mocks his brother, stating that he's going to beat him, and so that it was a mistake for that Asta guy to give him such a gift of the dragons. He's got a pretty big complex, as it's shown in the flashbacks that people seem to like Finral more for who he is rather than his abilities, except for their father and Longris's mother, who seem to scorn Finral for being lacking in his combat spatial magic. Though, once the battle starts, the Glass Maids begins the search for their crystal, as Longris and Seke, the haha guy, begin to burrow straight towards them. Once this happens, Longris fires a spatial magic attack from behind, which Finral is able to basically dispel by creating a portal, revealing that two spatial magic spells that collide with one another had the result of canceling each other out, which surprises everybody. As the king states, "It is impressive, still no match for me. This dude is highly arrogant." And with that, we get to the part where they do find out where Longris's team crystal is, and Finral sends them there, as he states that he got this and will handle Longris and the Haha guy, as he uses his fallen angel spell, sending it towards them. Seke dodges it, only to have it follow them and him getting hit by it being sent directly in front of Yami while he's taking care of business in the toilet, causing Yami to really get pissed and want to kill him. Seke rips Seke, but not really, but still. With people being impressed that he used a basic spatial magic spell and converted it into something to get rid of enemies without hurting them, remarking that he does seem to be kind. With Longris being angry at this, Finral decides something and fires a cosmic dragon breath at Longris, but aims it to miss him on purpose as a warning shot. As Finral states, that was a warning shot. I don't want to harm you, Longris. So please. As he looks concerned, he doesn't want to harm his brother. Finral's too much of a nice guy to ever think of doing something like that. As he's just really nervous right now. Longris is pissed, remarking that you're worthless. You're trash. I'm the better. I'm your better, and I'll prove it. As the attacks continue, Finral just defends. As Longris is getting more and more annoyed, he gets furious, yelling, stating that he isn't going to take this, firing all the magic that he has at Finral. As Finral defended himself using his power, he ended up with an opening to get a clear shot at Longris, but when he tried to do it, his body just clenched up. And as he saw his brother's face, he couldn't do it. Finral's not the kind of person to hurt somebody. Not someone who's a comrade, but moreover, not someone who shares his blood, his own brother. He couldn't do it. As this hesitation gave Longris an opening to fire even more magic, destroying their crystal, causing injuries to Finral. Due to his power of the cosmic dragon, which was a result of the spatial magic he has and the gravity dragon Lacrima fusing together, his injuries were still severe but could be treated more easily. As the Black Bulls were seeing this, they were worried about Finral. And the match was called, with Longris's team winning, due to the fact that Finral hesitated when it came to an opportunity to attack his own brother. But Longris, as he looked at Finral lying on the ground, he just had a look of rage in his eyes, raising his hand, going to kill him, as the Black Bulls shot themselves using Charmy's magic, sending them directly towards Longris, stopping him, with Magna, Luck, and Asta threatening him that if he tries it, he'll die. With Longris being angry, he states that he's going to kill them all and kill Finral. Firing a spatial magic, Asta uses the Devil Slayer sword and cuts it, destroying it, causing Longris to get even more mad. With Asta stating, he's your own family. You to do this, and to take it even farther, even after the match was over. Something is wrong with you. as the Wizard King shows up with medical care, with the doc treating Finral. Vanessa checks, asking if he's going to be alright, with him stating he's severely injured, but less injured than what I would think after that. With this, Asta and Longris are still staring each other down. As things escalated, Asta and Longris attack one another, with Asta being enveloped in blood crimson flames. Obviously, the Wizard King uses his magic to stop them, though when he states that the semifinals will be somewhat started sooner, as stating that the matches between Asta and Longris's team will happen now. Though when he took a look at the spears, Asta, the one that contained him, began to just crack as it was burned away. As in canon from Fairy Tail, Asta's magic has shown to burn things that honestly shouldn't be able to be burned. But he still did it. So I'm imagining Asta's flames in this what if can do the same. As he cools down a bit, as the Wizard King gets ready, thinking he might have to restrain him again, Asta walks over to Finral, being worried about them, even shedding tears. He states, I don't think the magic I have that can heal can do anything. Sorry, Finral. As his grimoire opens, something's happening to it. The, the bird, the phoenix that appeared on his grimoire during the Witch's Forest arc, if you remember, is now changing colors from red to blue as a new spell engraves itself in his grimoire. The title was Dragon Phoenix Magic. As he sees what type of magic it is, he smirks and asks the doctor to step back for a moment. He states, I'm going to help you, Finral. As he then goes, using his new spell, stating Dragon Phoenix Magic. Tears of the Weeping Dragon and Phoenix. As a red flame dragon and a blue flame phoenix appear, hovering over Finral, a teardrop from each of their eyes appears, landing on Finral, causing him to rapidly heal completely, shocking everybody. If you're wondering the origins of this spell, think of it like this. In many stories and legends, it's said that the tears of both dragons and phoenixes have the ability to heal wounds and even cure illnesses. And that's where this spell is inspired from. Finral is still kind of out of it, but with him healed, he's able to get a much more comfortable rest. As the doc looks at this, remarking, incredible. I heard the powers that a dragon could have. Looking at Asta, he smirks, stating, it seems as though they weren't just legends, huh? And here I thought that it was just stories. He heard about the rumors of Asta being half dragon, but after this, he's convinced. As Asta takes his grimoire and looks at it, he notices the blue phoenix, remarking that, well, basically thinking, um, remembering back in the witch's forest, as he calms down, with Mimosa and Zertz coming into the picture, and Longris's theme coming in. Nero sits on his head as he smirks slightly, but then gets back into a serious mode, telling them that they need this and that they're going to beat Longris. Which, when things somewhat cool down and Longris is released into his team's zone, it is stated that Longris, he just full on blurted out that he's going to destroy them. Mimosa is asked to keep an eye on their crystal and to bring it along in tow. As Asta, Zerx, and Mimosa go straight for their team, Longris just fires one spatial magic after another. Asta taking both swords out, just knocking magic back at him, as well as destroying magic. He gets hit some places. His anger is somewhat making it more difficult. And given that Longris isn't giving him time, he can't transform. He stated some things about his power while they were off to Zerx and Mimosa. And Zerx powered up some magic once things were getting pretty intense, and Asta called him out, stating that Longris wasn't a true magic knight. Finral was. He only used his magic to help people, and Longris used it to harm others, even going as far to be willing to sacrifice his own countrymen. Someone like that doesn't deserve to be a magic knight, as Longris just shouts that he is exactly what a magic knight is, firing off a large amount of spatial magic spells. Zerx gets in the way, stating, "Hurry up," as he shows the magic circle. As his magic circle disappeared, they thought Zerx was done for, though it's then shown that he put the magic circle on his own body, sending the attack back at Longris. Longris just laughs madly as he states, "You think that was enough to beat me, you filthy mongrel? You commoner?" With magic just radiating off him with a large amount of bloodlust, Asta recognized this feeling from all the times dealing with the Eye of the Midnight Sun. Though, given this opportunity, he's able to transform. Though to put Longris in his place, he does what he has to, transforming into his full state, going into the full Black Blaze Dragon mode, shocking everybody, including Zerk, who is just jaw dropped. As Asta in this form flies directly to Longris, grabbing him with one hand. Though the palm, his hands open, he's shoving him clean straight to the crystal, yelling at him, stating, "This ends now!" Slamming Longris directly into the crystal, breaking it. With their crystal damaged, but not as much as in canon, due to Asta being faster and stronger in this. With Asta team's win, they advance to the final round. And with that settled, Longris is taken away for interrogation, due to the fact the Wizard King saw this as an opportunity to possibly bring out more traitors in their ranks, besides the former captain of the Purple Orcas. But with that shift in the tournament, and with Finral being partially awake, witnessing the match in his bed as he recovered from the exhaustion from dealing with those injuries, he smirked, stating, "Thank you, Asta," as he then frowned, thinking to himself, "Longris, what happened?" Next, we have the match with Rill's team along with Klaus and Luck's team. With Asta changed back into his normal state, the Wizard King was just so excited to see that, as the Clover King was completely shocked, asking, He he can do that? With Mereoleona stating yes, though he isn't at full strength yet. The Wizard King, as well as the King, both remark at the same time, What do you mean? The Clover King with fear, the Wizard King with excitement. Mereoleona, with Asta sleeping, now just sleeping on her, continues stating, It's pretty simple when you think about it. Or at least to those who know Asta. He's gradually gotten stronger until he's reached this point to turn into a full dragon. Though, from what I know, he hasn't fully unleashed his true power. Anytime I sensed his power, it's like it's locked up in a box. As time passes, that box slowly opens more and more. I can tell it isn't fully open yet, but it's close. So close. But once that final gap opens, Asa will most likely achieve what his father had. He'll become a Dragon King, with the Wizard King being excited and the Clover King being scared right down to his very soul, since Dragon Kings were supposed to be the most frightening beings in the world according to their old legends. Though, thinking about it for a moment, if they have a Dragon King, then even if the other kingdoms have dragons, according to what Mereoleona states about his plan, they could use Asta as a last resort to make other countries do what they want. And with this black flames that destroy magic, he's like an ace. So he's figuring he might be able to use Asta as a weapon more than anything. He's trying to think of a good way to use him. As Rill and with Luck and Klaus's teams are ready, they begin their match in the second round. As Luck and Klaus decide to go head to head with the captain, as Polly was given the task of keeping it away from the others. Using her wing magic, she can fly around and maneuver as she wished to avoid attacks. Though she thinks as she's doing this being attacked by the other two members of Rail's team, thinking, those two better hurry, I don't think I can keep this up. As Klaus and Luck look down at Captain Rill, Klaus states, we might only have one chance as this. With Luck stating, I know. And after seeing him use multiple elements using his picture magic, I'm even more excited to see what he'll do. With Rill waving at them stating, come on, I want to see what you guys can do. As they then power up using the trick that they learned. As Klaus became a steel or a dark steel dragon mode. As for Luck, he ended up with a dark lightning dragon mode. And yes, Yami contributed to this, though not all of the people who have dragon powers actually went along with it. With this, they charge at Rill, attacking. With Rill using his magic, he creates that god spell, with Luck firing a dark lightning dragon roar, causing him to just fling it back, sending it to Klaus as he releases a dark steel dragon roar. Once it collides, it does overpower him a bit, sending him back, since Rill added his own magic power to the spells that Luck sent towards him, copying a little bit from Zerk's. As Luck goes after him, Rill combines the attribute of light as well as some fire in order to send them directly towards Luck. With him firing at this using another roar, it is somewhat at a standstill. So, because the dark magic in the dark lightning magic is eating the light, but it is being somewhat overpowered due to Rill having more mana. But while this goes on, the dark lightning that was the first attack is flying straight towards Polly. As he didn't notice this going at her so fast, it destroyed the crystal. She is somewhat singed a little bit on her hands since it was above her head, though she's glad she didn't get hit by that, as Luck and Klaus's team are found to be eliminated. Luck is kind of sad by this, since it turned out his attack was redirected and used to destroy their crystal. He isn't necessarily happy, but he still found it a great fight. Next, we have the match with Yuno, Noelle, and N. Though, due to the team they're up against, not much really changes. As Yuno hurries up and destroys their crystal. Now, since Asta's team is already in the finals and the other bracket still needs to take care of the semifinals, they're going directly towards that. With Rill's team versus Yuno's, with Luck and Klaus kind of sulking, but Asta helping, Luck and Magna also cheering them up, stating that that was a great fight and that their new forms were incredible, with Mimosa also helping with reinforcing Klaus's confidence, as he remarks that the captain really does have skill above all else, and with him being so young, it's kind of frightening. With the William the butler stating, yes, he has always had quite the imagination, and because of that, he can think of many ways to counteract enemies. To be frank, that ability you used in order to use two elements at once was incredible, but Master Rill has also shown an ability to do the same, although differently than what you did. But you inspired him to do something incredible. And that inspiration of the artist has further elevated him. I thank you. And please, even if you did lose, do be kind to Master Rill. As Luck states, well, yeah, I want a rematch. One-on-one, no crystals, and no holding back. I want to face him on head on, with the butler chuckling at this, stating, oh, I'm sure that would give him quite the inspiration for his art. With this, we go on to the semifinals in the I guess you call it the B bracket, as the fight is about to begin. Yuno states that he'll be going after the captain, with Noelle getting annoyed by this, stating, what about us? He states that he has spirit and dragon magic. Combining those as well as what he learned when training with them, he's probably their best chance, as he points towards the two maids going for their crystal. Noelle sighs, remarking, you have a good point, but still, Make sure that you actually win. He is a captain, so don't underestimate him. As, states, it's fine being so freaking stoic and just flying off. As the mushroom guy and the well now have to deal with Captain Rill's teammates, doing the same kind of defense lineup, with Noel taking care of I believe it was the Earth maids. No, Noel took care of the Ice maids well and dealt with the Earth maids with the little mushroom on his shoulder being so freaking hype. This dude is freaking bipolar with mushrooms. As Yuno encounters Captain Rill, they begin their fight, which is pretty cool. Though, as the fight becomes somewhat of a aerial battle for him, with Captain Rill using essentially magic air land to air missiles. So yeah, he decides to power up, revealing that he's grown a sky dragon wing out of his right side, as well as some feathery like scales. With the king going, "Even that commoner? Really? Ah, why can't they just lose?" Of course, he didn't say this out loud, especially in front of Mary Leona, since he's probably somewhat backing them in hopes that they'll win. Though, as confronts Rill, Rill states, "Oh, that wing, it's incredible. I feel so inspired." As states, "Belle, it's time." With her being excited, they enter into a new form. Did do the training and did do an incredible thing. Combining Luck's lightning dragon magic with his sky dragon, he's created storm dragon mode. And furthermore, he's also incorporated the spirit dive mode he's been practicing, creating storm spirit dragon mode. Or you can consider it Storm Spirit Dragon Dive. Whichever you prefer to call it, leave a comment down below. And with this, the battle continues. As they launched a attack, Rill doubles his attack, not only creating that wyvern thing, but also doubling it with a hydra. As uses a new spell, Storm Spirit Dragon whirling cannon, firing a electrical tornado cannon at Rill, as Rill fires a energy blast of mana towards him using the wyvern and the hydra heads that are full on launching magic at this. With them colliding, it's tough to say who's winning, as they seem to be at a draw. The force from this is so great that the crystal behind Rill can't take the shockwaves from it and shatters, with Rill being disappointed by this and saddened. Though with Will, his butler, giving him encouragement that he did incredibly well. Rill does state, but I lost, with William stating, "Yes, but you only lost due to the fact that the crystal wasn't strong enough to handle you and that unit boy's raw power colliding. So close to it at that." With Rill sighing, he does cheer up and states that him and should try sparring, and especially for him to create another masterpiece, causing to be confused about this whole masterpiece thing. He's not much of a painter. So with this, it is now time for the finals of the Royal Magic Knight exam. Though they're given a short break so that Yuno's team can actually recover, due to the fact that the semifinals for Asta's team did happen a bit earlier than anticipated. With this, they do take a break, as Zerx, Mimosa, and Asta strategize on what they should do. Asta volunteers to take out Yuno, or at least deal with him, as Zerx states that he could probably take care of the crystal, set a few traps on the crystal itself as well as the surroundings, and it should be good. And Mimosa volunteers to take care of Noelle, which they somewhat have the same strategy on Yuno's team, since Yuno and Asta see each other as rivals, even without growing up in this one. So yeah, after the break, the Magic Knight, the Royal Magic Knight exam now continues. And with this, they start with N the Mushroom Mage protecting their crystal, and with Zek, with Zek protecting their crystal, Asta's team's crystal and such. The fight begins. Mimosa and Noelle begin their attack on one another, both starting out with their own dragon's roar, with it colliding. They continue colliding with their own magic spells as well as the natural magical attacks from the dragon magic they have. So yeah, with Mimosa firing off a few blasts from her flower cannon, and Mimosa does go on a bit of an offensive, with Noelle using her Sea Dragon's Lair, as well as her Sea Dragon's Wrath, though Mimosa uses her Dragon Wing to avoid this, causing Noelle to do the same to go after her. As for Asta and Yuno, they face each other up in the sky with their dragon-like forms, with Yuno going directly into Storm Spirit Dragon Dive, and Asta going into his halfway form of Black Blaze Dragon. Yuno remarks, "You're not going to fully transform?" Asta states, "I can only do that about once per day." If you remember correctly from the past discussions of this what if, it is due to the fact that Asta's power is still somewhat sealed, making it harder for him to maintain the full dragon form. As they begin to fight, Yuno tries to attack from multiple angles, Asta using his sword and tail infused with hit or gets restrained by his anti in a bad situation. So until he finds a good opening, he has a distance to attack him. Of course, individuals on each team, they figured that at least 2-on-1 fight, making it easier. Asta thanks Zerx for his help, though he remarked that I didn't do much, at least not in this one. I can't fly, so, as he shrugs puts his foot down and states, I'm not actually royalty, but stuck in rumors. He prefers concrete info. Hearing what that cherry blossom guy said, which is true, you're adopted. Zora, since the game is over and all that, we're going back to his real name. With the wind that the Eye of the Midnight Sun are a big problem, that they could use his help with his trap magic. With this being said, he just walks away. And we get to the part where Yami sees Asta kind of staring blankly, though not like in canon. Asta is wondering about how Yuno got so powerful with that spirit magic. Looking at his grimoire, he is smirking, as he's glad that he has something that helped Finral. Finral is healed now, and with some rest, he's fully recovered. And with this, they do. Uh, Yami still, gives a little speech about everything with the I well, his story on how him and Captain Vengeance met, being rivals, and how they became Magic Knight captains. With all that, Asta was kind of happy, wondering if him and Yuno were going to have the same kind of rivalry, thinking it would be kind of fun. As Natsu chimed in, stating that was a really good story, but what was the point? Causing Yami to be kind of angry, though he knew he couldn't just smack a kid. Natsu is really young for that. As time somewhat passed, Barely Leona started banging on the Black Bull's door to the point of breaking it down, causing Asta to think, "Oh God, what now? Last time she was here, Yami was a Yami was about to felt like he was about to receive a death sentence." As Yami walks in, shouting that there's a dangerous animal and to evacuate the building. As she grabs Yami's head and gives him a bottle of alcohol, thanking him for visiting Flagoleon. As Natsu walks up to her, waving as he smirks, Leona just pats his head, stating, "You're looking healthy." Looking at her adopted son, she states that seems like you're doing a good job caring for him, with him scratching his head, stating, "Well, thanks," only to have his head quickly grabbed by the flame lion's paw and lifted up, with her stating, "You're coming with me." With some commotion, we now have Luck, Noelle, and Finral being grabbed. As she goes walking off, they freak out, with Noelle asking Yami to do something, and him stating, as long as she gets out of here, she can do whatever she wants, with her being shocked by this response. Though Leona, after being asked by Asta, asking, "Where are you taking us, Mom?" She states, "You've all been selected for the Magic Knight exam. You've all been selected for the Royal Knights." So, yeah. With that, they are surprised and they are happy. Though Leona states, "Wait, there's one more." As Magna asked if it was him, he states no, and just goes on. As they get to the meeting for the Royal Magic Knights, so yeah, and see all the members that seem to have been called. Even Rill, who is depressed that he got beat in the exam, even though he's a captain. So yeah, with that, things do kind of line up as in canon, as Zerx just drops in, introducing himself as a member of the Black Bulls, though Asta does call him out on this, asking what happened, and he just explains that Yami just scouted him and threw him a Black Bulls uniform. With Asta thinking, along with the others, yeah, that sounds like Captain Yami. With a number of the members that are there being surprised that the Black Bulls are the most represented in this squad. Afterwards, the explanation of the plan that they found out where the magic knights were going to hit the Eye of the Midnight Sun, their headquarters, which resides in a dungeon in a strong magic region, being a very strange and powerful region that messes with gravity. With this in mind, the king tries to state some things, but gets cut off by Leona constantly. And he is too afraid of this woman to even say anything. Zora does state his real name, which Asta was kind of angry that he falsified his own name and that he was attacking Magic Knights, though Zora stated he has his own reason. After hearing this, he calmed down, knowing that the Black Bull's Captain Yami seems to be an odd judge with character. That now that after meeting someone and knowing them for a short time, they seem to have a good grasp on what kind of person they are. Sure, the Black Bulls are weird and all that, but they're good people. And with that, he just accepted. So he's calmed down a bit on this, as Mary Leona tells them to hurry up and get changed into their uniforms. They hurry up and do get suited up, revealing that Asta is the only one with a shortened uniform. Though Mary Leona states that it's because they ran out of fabric, and states that you have the blood of a fire dragon king running through you. I think you can deal with a couple of hits. As he smirks, he calms down and states, "You have a point." After everything, he introduced some additions, being the captain of the Silver Eagles, Nozel, the Spatial Mage that works under the Wizard King, and, well, it's a very small number of more. But either way, Mimosa is restraining herself from smacking her brother. Osleg is excited, and the others are just worried or nervous about fighting the Eye of the Midnight Sun, though less so knowing that their members Veto and Fauna are out of the picture. With this, they do have a chance to relax. So yeah. And finally, they do go visit Plagoleon in the hospital, as Leopold didn't get picked, but Asta does cheer him up and states that, well, even if you're not coming with us, still, someone needs to stay here and watch over Uncle, as he smirks. With Leopold also being happy, telling his adopted nephew, because that's how that works, to give the Eye of the Midnight Sun some hell for him too, as they fist bump. As they go and meet up with Klaus and uh, Mimosa in the courtyard, Klaus tells them that they need to be more careful and offers them a ride. As they go ahead and get into the steel chariot thing, something flows into Asta's shadow as they head out. Once they meet up and are told that in 3 days they'll begin the attack, and enjoying themselves, as all of a sudden Cooley just begins to sing very terribly, breaking everybody's ears. As the maids that snuck into Asta's shadow tries to leave, Asta does smell something, and it smells like blood. creating a dragon hand of fire, reaching down, grabbing the shadow, surprising everybody as he rips a guy out of the shadow and punches him, sending him flying into the wall. Barely Leona and Nozel come in as everything was explained, and they learn that this guy was with the Eye of the Midnight Sun. As she states that they'll be attacking bright in the morning tomorrow, surprising everybody as they thought they had 3 days. Though she states that, well, if they have one spy in the capital, it's likely they have others. So, we'll lock this miscreant up and head out in the morning, with the Wind Spirit Belle complaining that she doesn't want Yuna to see her bright and early in the morning, what she looks like and such. So, yeah. But, yeah, they get some rest before the fight. And before they actually leave, we'll end this part right now. Do hope you enjoyed. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Sorry if I messed up a little in the part, but this has been a long video. Also because of the whole tournament thing. And with that, yeah. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment, hit that notification bell, set it to all so that you're properly updated. And with all that, I do hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you later, and bye.